All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You ready to get into it today?
Always ready. Let's dive in.
Today, we're going deep into the world of Reddit relationship advice.
Ooh, that's always a good one.
It is, and it can get messy. We're looking at a post from the Ask Men Advice subreddit.
Okay, ask men advice. What do we got?
Well, a guy is asking for advice because he just found out his girlfriend was involved with a man who was in a long-distance relationship.
Okay. Not uncommon. I guess long-distance relationships can be tough.
Right. But here's the kicker. The girlfriend has zero remorse about it.
Zero. So she doesn't see anything wrong with what she did.
Nope. The OP was super thrown off by her response when he brought it up.
What'd she say?
She basically said, that's not my problem.
Wow, that's a pretty cold reaction. It definitely raises a red flag.
Yeah, and the Reddit community is going wild with advice.
I bet. So what are people saying?
Some are saying he should run for the hills. Like, this is a major sign of trouble.
Makes sense. I mean, lack of remorse can be a big deal in a relationship.
Right? Then you've got some people saying maybe she was young and naive back then. Give her a break.
Yeah, people can change. It's possible she's learned from that experience.
True. But some commenters are bringing up some pretty heavy psychology stuff.
Oh, really? Like what?
They're mentioning the dark triad of personality traits.
Ooh, the dark triad. That's narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy.
Exactly. And those are often associated with a lack of empathy and manipulative tendencies.
Right. So basically, some people are worried this girlfriend might fit that profile.
Pretty much. And to be fair, we can't diagnose anyone based on a Reddit post.
Definitely not. But it's a good reminder to pay attention to those early warning signs in a relationship.
For sure. Especially when it comes to things like empathy and accountability.
Absolutely. Those are crucial for a healthy relationship.
One commenter even shared a personal story about their ex-spouse who had similar behavior.
Oh, wow. And how did that turn out?
Well, it ended in divorce.
Sounds like a cautionary tale.
It definitely is. And it brings up a whole other debate about morality and personal responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's really to blame when someone cheats? Is it just the cheater, or is the other person involved also responsible?
Right. The comment section is divided on that one. Some say it's entirely on the person who's already committed, while others think the other person shares some of the blame.
That's a tough one. It's definitely a gray area, ethically.
Yes. So we've got the OP worried about his girlfriend's lack of remorse, a bunch of Redditors ringing alarm bells, and this whole ethical debate about cheating. It's a lot to unpack.
It is, and it gets even more complicated because guess what? The OP gave an update.
Oh no, what
The
happened?
girlfriend is now expressing remorse.
Blonde. So she went from, that's not my problem, to, I'm so sorry.
Yep. But the question is it genuine remorse, or is she just trying to save the relationship now that she knows he's upset?
That's a good question. How can you tell the difference?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's hard to know what someone's true intentions are, especially in a situation like this.
It really is. So now the OP has to decide if he believes her or not.
And that's a tough spot to be in.
It is. You don't want to be naive, but you also don't want to throw away a relationship if she's truly changed.
Right. It's all about weighing the risks and rewards, I guess.
And trying to figure out if her past actions are really a predictor of future behavior.
Exactly. Because sometimes people do change and sometimes they don't.
And there's really no way to know for sure until it's too late.
That's the scary part. And that's why this whole situation is so fascinating.
It really is. Okay, so let's break down what we've learned so far from this Ask Men Advice post and all the comments.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. So we're trying to figure out if this girlfriend's remorse is the real deal or just a clever act, you know?
Right, like, is she really feeling bad about what she did, or is she just trying to smooth things over because the OP is freaking out?
Exactly. And it's not just about her feelings either. It's about whether those feelings translate into actual change.
That's true. Like, just saying sorry isn't enough. She needs to show that she's learned from the experience and wouldn't do it again.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words, as they say. And that's where things get tricky.
How so?
Well, think about it. Even if she's genuinely remorseful, now, there's no guarantee that she won't repeat the same behavior in the future.
Oh, right. Because past behavior can sometimes be a predictor of future behavior.
Exactly. And that's why some people might advise the OP to just walk away, cut his losses before he gets hurt again.
Yeah, I can see that. But then again, people do change sometimes, don't they?
They do. And that's the hopeful side of things. Maybe she was just immature back then and she's grown as a person.
Maybe. But how can the OP know for sure?
That's the tough part. There's no magic formula for knowing someone's true character. You can't just look them up on some kind of relationship database.
Right. It's all about trust and taking a leap of faith.
It is. And that's a big ask, especially after what's happened. The OP has every right to be cautious.
He does. But at the same time, he doesn't want to punish her forever if she's truly changed.
Right. It's a delicate balance between giving someone the benefit of the doubt and protecting yourself from getting hurt.
It really is. So what do you think? Is there anything the OP can do to figure this out?
Well, one thing he could do is observe her behavior over time. See if her actions align with her words.
So basically look for evidence that she's actually changed.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
how does she treat other people? Does she take responsibility for her actions? Does she show empathy and compassion?
Hmm. Those are good indicators. But it's still a gamble, isn't it?
It is. There's always a risk involved in relationships, and ultimately the OP has to decide if he's willing to take that risk.
And if he's not,
Then he has to be prepared to walk away, even if it's painful.
wow, this is getting pretty heavy.
It is, but that's the reality of relationships. Sometimes they're messy and complicated.
They are. And sometimes you have to make tough decisions.
Exactly. But even though it's tough, it's also an opportunity for growth.
How so?
Well, going through something like this can teach you a lot about yourself and what you're looking for in a partner.
That's true.
Yeah.
It can help you clarify your values and boundaries.
Exactly. And that's valuable knowledge to have, no matter what happens with this particular relationship.
So even if things don't work out with this girlfriend, the OP will come out of this experience wiser and stronger.
Hopefully. And who knows, maybe he'll even meet someone better down the road.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah.
But for now, let's focus on helping him navigate this current situation.
Sounds good. Let's see what else we can learn from this Ask Men advice post. So much to think about. Huh. What would you do if you were the OP?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I mean, it's easy to say dump her when it's not your relationship,
Right. It's always easier to give advice than to take it.
Totally. But I think for me, it would come down to trust. Could I really trust her again after this?
Yeah, trust is huge. And it's not something you can just force yourself to feel.
Exactly. Like if that gut feeling is telling you something's off, then you got to listen to it.
I agree. And it's not just about trusting her. It's also about trusting yourself.
Hmm.
Trusting your judgment and your intuition.
That's a good point. I think sometimes we ignore those red flags because we don't want to be alone or we're scared of hurting someone's feelings.
Right. But in the long run, it's better to be honest with yourself and with the other person.
Totally.
Yeah.
So if the OP is really struggling with this, I think it's important for him to talk to someone about it.
Definitely. Like a therapist or a trusted friend, someone who can offer an objective perspective.
Because let's be real, this is a pretty heavy situation to deal with on your own.
It is. And it's okay to ask for help. There's no shame in needing support.
Not at all. In
Mm.
fact, I think it's a sign of strength to admit that you need help.
I agree. So, OP, if you're out there and you're listening to this, please reach out to someone. You don't have to go through this alone.
We're here for you. And so is the entire Reddit community, it seems like.
Right. They've been super supportive and insightful throughout this whole discussion.
It's amazing how these online forums can bring people together and offer such valuable advice.
It really is. And it's a reminder that we're all in this together. We
Yeah.
all face challenges in our relationships. And it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. So whether you're dealing with a cheating ex, a remorseful girlfriend, or any other relationship dilemma, remember that you're not alone.
There are people out there who care and who want to help.
And there are resources available to support you.
So don't give up. Keep searching for answers and keep working towards healthy, happy relationships.
That's a great message to end on, I think. So that wraps up our deep dive into this Ask Men advice post.
Wow, what a roller coaster of emotions.
It was, but also super insightful. We covered everything from trust and forgiveness to the dark triad of personality traits.
And we even touched on the ethical complexities of cheating.
It was a jam-packed deep dive for sure.
It was. But hopefully our listeners got something out of it.
I think so. And if you did, we'd love to hear from you.
Head over to our YouTube channel, Shauna Pelage, and leave a comment below this video. Let us know your thoughts on this Reddit case.
And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future deep dives.
We release new videos every week covering all sorts of fascinating topics.
From psychology and relationships to personal growth and spirituality.
We've got something for everyone. So come join our community and let's continue the conversation.
And if you prefer listening to your content on the go, you can find our podcast, Voices of the Soul, on all major podcast platforms.
We'd love to have you join us wherever you choose to listen.
So until next time, keep those deep thoughts flowing and remember we're all in this together.
Thanks for joining us.